Okay. Now, what is the next thing we want to do? Yeah. So this is, we didn't do it. How to import the files from the folder. I told you that we will see all these things one by one, like from database, from Excel, or from folders. Now, I'll take you to my this folder. Suppose you have 100 files in our folder. So can we go and combine them? It's a Power Query feature. But in Power Query, maybe that data which I want to combine, that I want to use in my BI, isn't it? And these are Excel files, you see, right? So because Power Query is available in BI, so let's use that. So you see there is a one sheet only. Remember that. It's only one data, which is this, right? So we have some data here. India is a sheet. Then under this workbook name Asia, there's another data, right? Okay. And then we go to another one. So you see all the headers are same. The numbers are going to change, but the headers are same. And this is very important because we are targeting, if I have to collate this data, I have to combine this data. In Excel, generally we go and create the VBA code for this, but now Power Query is very, it can do, this task very easily. So people who do not know VBA, they can do this. So my job is, what we are supposed to learn is that we want to combine the data. What are the files we have? Okay. And I prefer keeping only the Excel files, not the other files, because they can then create a problem for me. Okay. So if I have to do this, how I can do that? Well, copy the data, the path, I beg your pardon. Let's go to the BI. This is also one of the very important thing, that you want to create a dashboard on the entire data, on the folders, on all these files. So first we have to combine the data, right? So in the home tab, this get data, we will click on the more. Okay, you see there are so many options here. Text and CSV you can practice at home. I will not teach you. It's the same thing like importing the data from Excel. Same way, text file also, right? So what we will see here is that in the more, I'll go and use this folder. You see that folder. Tomorrow they may change this option. They keep on changing the option. So it's fine. You can, if you just Google, you will know. Right now it's like this. So folder. So when I click on the folder, I have a folder path. I can browse it. But since I've copied the path, I just want to say, this is my path. Okay. And I say, okay. So I should now be able to see all the files. As you can see, I have all the files are available. Their extension is available. At their date, modify, created, everything is available. Path, which we obviously do not need. So now you can transform the data, you can load the data, and you see there is a combine option, very important. So you can use the combine. In the combine, I have combine and transform, and I have combine and load. It's up to you which one you want, but I'll directly take this data. I want that I should be, I should be taken to the Power Query window. And I told you that transform data is the one. Otherwise, if you simply say like load, then the load takes you to the Power BI. The normal Power BI, right? So let's say that I want to combine the data and I want to transform as well. I want to do some calculations on that. I want to change the data. So let's just click on the transform, combine, then transform. Let's not take time. So how this is going to now happen? Let's go and see. So it's going to show these options. Just click on the folder. Okay. Generally, when you go,
if any file has some different columns, so how BI will identify?
the columns are supposed to be same. Structure of the data is supposed to be same.
If in case,
then you have to first clear it
in the Excel only, or with the help of in the Excel.
Yes. Index. See, it's the folder option. So the plan is that we want to merge the data. Now in any the department, wherever you're working, whenever the data collection, the task is there, it's always like the columns are same, because you can't have one different column, or in fact, I'll say that one column data is same, but the column names are different, so there will always be a problem. So when this query is going to run, we have to make sure that the number of headers, the header names, they're supposed to be same. Well, let's see that, what will happen. Just let's go through this. Number of headers, I cannot say that you have to just give it a try, or we can try, no problem, since you asked me, but I'll tell you what exactly how the window is going to look like. See, right now, I've clicked on this parameter. So let me click OK, and let's see that. So this is the Power Query now. And so I'll say apply changes. I should be on the Power Query. Okay, it hasn't taken me there, no problem. Let's go there. if I go here, you see that I can see the data, though the data is imported as data. It should not be as data, it should be actually overall data, because I want the entire data. But if you see here, what happened, the data is not like the way you were expecting, that, one data about the below, I mean, second data about one by one, I mean, stacking, which I was talking about. The data is not in that format. The data is in a very different format. Number of rows are very less. So it has not actually combined it, but it has, maybe there's a way that we need to find it out now. Basically, rather than looking at the data here, because, all the transformation we will have to do in the Power Query. Let's go in the Power Query. And now this data is 8 days old, whatever. Okay, now you see that here I have a data. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this Afrita. So it has picked the name from my folder, which is okay. But for my own clarity is, I'll say that overall data. Okay, so I'm going to rename this here. Everybody, this is a Power Query job, right? So once this name is there, fine. Now, if you see that, this is where you see. And you see that when you are actually using the folder, it has done its own things, which are like helper query it has created. Never touch those parts. Toy data is there, and next the data, which is overall data. And this is the data which now we have to go and sort it out. What is it, right? Now you see, basically it's telling you that source of the data, from where it is coming. These are all my Excel workbook files. If you see that, these are all the Excel files. Very nice. It's telling me the Excel file names, right? If I want to keep the names, I can. Okay. And because sometimes a workbook name you may require it. And today only in my previous class, my student asked me that we were learning the VBA there. So there was a project where we have to combine the data using the VBA program from different sheets. So the same question comes there, that what if I want to keep the sheet names along with the data, right? Okay. So anyway, so you have the source name here, then the name. These are the name sheet names, right? So this file has a sheet name called India, and it is repeating the same information here also. So these are all the sheet names. It's in fact even telling you that these are all the sheet names, right? So what I now want, well, actually we see that for me, I don't need the name, I don't need the source name. If you want, you can keep this, okay? Or maybe let's keep the workbook name, let's keep the name. This is a most important Part9 table. We have the data here table, right? And this is where I have to now go and use this option. I will go here and say that, I want to have the data. Okay. I will use this option. I mean, I will use this particular column. This, I don't need it. So you can just use a shift key and you can remove the unwanted columns. So I'm just going to say, remove the columns. The columns are removed. Now what I will do, see, so this is where my data is, and I want to actually keep this source name and the name as well. So I will simply click here and I say that you can even load more. I mean, in case if there are columns, the number of columns you want to see, we will simply go and say, okay, we will not touch anywhere, because this is not a Power Query session, but since it is an important part, so I want to tell you. Now, once you expand that, once you click on there, so what happens, you see these headers are there, right? And if you see, all the files have the same header. Numbers are obviously different, right? But headers are same. Now, as you asked me that, so that particular thing also we will, after this, once when you finish up with this data collation, we will go and give it a try. We will try to put some different names, right? But you see, number of columns are same, right? So Power Query may say that, that if somewhere they have a 7th column, let's say. So what I'm imagining right now is it might be possible that a 7th column can be created, but then underneath that 7th, the column, the other values will be put 0. So that is also something Power Query can do. I really don't remember. I have never been in this situation. Or maybe Power Query can create a column also that I don't need this, because this is the column which is I can't find in other things. But we will see to that. Now you see, so here we have all the data, right? So now, because you wanted the source name and all that stuff, so now the plan is what you're supposed to do. See, first of all, all the headers, we don't need these. The headers basically are these, which are actually right now showing us value. So in the Power Query, we have a feature. Go here, okay? If you have started watching the Power Query, use first row as header. So first row of my data should be treated as header, okay? Because this is what I want. So once this is done, I can see very nicely all the headers are there. Very good. You can scroll this and you can see everything is set. Now, of course, this, because of this one.xlss, this can create a confusion. So we can rename this. Because if you go to the previous step, if you're wondering how this has come, see where we have expanded this data. Basically, when I'm saying that I want this first row name, English, Python, all that as my first row, the other values which are coming here, which are the not actually the headers of your table, but the other attributes, they also go up, isn't it? So that's fine. We can rename this. This is all about data cleaning, isn't it? So you can say file name, okay. And this, if you want to, use this, you can keep this column as sheet name. Fine. Now, once this is done, you see that these all name, English, and all that stuff. We don't need it. So once the header is there, when you put the filter, the header will never be a part of a filter, isn't it? In Excel also, this happens the same way. So I'll just say that I don't need the name, and along with the name, then all the other headers will also be filtered. I think they should work for us, right? So it's working very nice. Once this data is there, so if you want to keep this data, like first you want to have a name, so you can just go and drag this here. In fact, what I will do, I will select the shift key, this, and I'm going to now just move this here, drag and drop, simple, like in Excel you do. And the last one is what? DAX and Excel. Okay, so I'll press the again shift key and I'm going to drag this. I prefer keeping the file name, sheet name here. Okay, so that's how it is. Now, if any, if you want to remove the .xlsx from here, well, you can just select this and you can find out here there must be an option which is replace, something like that, replace. So change type, transform, replace value. So what I want to replace in this, well, value to find, I say I'll find this XLSX, replace with nothing, I click OK. Wonderful, right? This is how it is. And if you realize, oh, no, I want to keep it because that tells me the workbook name because of its extension. You know that in the Power Query, you are never going to undo the data, Control G, but at the same time, you will always have a backup already ready in the form of a step. So you need not to worry about if I can undo or not, if I can undo the data or not, because the moment I go to the previous step, I will have the same data. So for every step, for every action, they create a new step, right? So if you have 20 steps, all the 20 steps will have a different data. So you can always go and switch from one step to another step in order to find out the data that you're looking for. Now, in this case, if I say that, no, I don't need this, okay, it was by mistake, I can always remove the step and that's it. So this is how the data is. Now, once this data is there, of course, you can take this data to the BI and you can go and create whatever you want to create, the analysis, what I'm going to say, right? That we will not do because here we wanted to actually discuss about the folder part. Okay, so once the data is created, now you see we have a neat and clean data. Previously, how the data was like, it was not giving any values. It was some different type of a format, binary format, right? With the folder path, date creation. Now the BI is ready. So this is where the Power Query helps the BI. So now I have this, the overall data here. If you want to, create, if you want to have any type of the visual, you can use it. So you will use, let's say, so for example, let me see, sheet name. I don't know. This is, so this is how. Okay, this is how it is. Well, let's leave this part because this is something we are not going to do this. Out of English or out of DAX, this is something which is, you see that it's the header English and DAX and all this Excel, they are numbers. There's no sigma sign here. In fact, here by default, I told you when you drag and drop something, it always sums the value. Why it is giving me the count instead of that? It's not in fact giving me the sum. How it is possible? Well, it is all because the number formatting might have changed, right? So if right now I look at this, it is on the left side, and anything on the left side means in Excel also it's actually considered as a text. So what we can do is we can go and change the data type to number. You can do this in the Power Query also. You can do this here also. I prefer doing this in the Power Query because that is where the most of the time you will do the data cleaning. So, let's quickly go and, see that. So there is another hidden learning, which I didn't plan for you, that in case if you're seeing the numbers as count, but not as sum, please go and check the data type. Now, if you see here, the data type is right now not decided. Okay. So because all our numbers, so can I just go and select all? and I can just go and try to click here, or maybe you can do this from the home tab also. So can we do this in one go? Let's see that. So what I do, I say phone number. Well, you see the numbers are created and change type 2 is there. Power Query has already used this then. We have already discussed about this. So another, because the action is same, but the step cannot be the same. So now we have the numbers. Now in my visual, I must now this issue now I think is sorted. Let's say that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just go and put this. Now see, we have the sigma sign. Wonderful, right? So I mean, you can do, in your own way how it is. So that I leave it to you. But remember this particular point, if you numbers are there and they don't show the sigma sign, or when you realize that I don't see the sum, average, mean, max, please go and change their formatting. Okay. All right. So this exercise was all about the folders. Now, as you asked me, so we can definitely go and see. So what we will do, I will create one more file for you, 6, with the name of 6. And I'm going to now, what I'm going to do, so I'm going to change the header name. Okay. I'm going to change the header name. And so let's say this time it is name employee. Okay. So now what is going to happen? First, let's save the file, close the file. Now I just have to refresh, because if you remember, our linking is done with the folder. Whatever comes in the folder, that is going to be there. So we will simply go and, first of all, I'll go in the Power Query actually. Let's see there. Okay, so let's refresh this. And now let's see what's going to happen. Look at this. The data has populated here, right? But when the data is populated, so we have the name employee, okay, and about the rest of the things. So the data actually is coming, but I see that it's creating errors over here, perhaps because of that mismatching, right? However, the mismatch was here in this particular field. Now, if I have all the numbers, then I can just put one more filter and the things will go okay from here, isn't it? So we have XTY. We did not change the data, I guess. Yeah. So now you see, once the data is there, so what I can do, I can just go and put one more filter, and we can remove the name employee from here, I guess. Yeah. Yeah. So you just have to, go do these bit of the tweakings in your data, right? There can be an alternate method also. This is all about the experience and the practice. So once this is done, we are okay. Okay. Now, what I will do is, so once this is done, let me just remove this filter. You have seen what exactly has happened. Now, instead of doing this, guys, the last thing which we will check. Now, we will not change the headers, but we will add the headers. Okay. So I'm going to keep this as name. If you will keep this as name, let me save the file. First of all, let's go back here. Now, if I refresh, we should not have this problem. Very nice. You see, because in the previous step somewhere here, the data is already being filtered on these columns, isn't it? These columns, name, English, and all that. Now, I see that testing is another testing. 100, 100, and 100. Now, I close this, save this file basically. Let's go back here. Now, let's see what will happen. Okay. Let's see what's going to happen. All right. Okay, so I don't see anything here. Refresh all. Okay, so first of all, we have our data here and the sheet name is there. Okay, so we don't have that particular column. Okay, now let me make sure. Now let's save the file. I just want to make myself double sure that I have saved the file. So let's go and save the file. This is all I'm doing for basically since you asked me. Okay. Yeah, so it's done. Now see, so what exactly has happened here? What would have happened here, because of which we can't see the name, the file is there, but the column is not there, the extra column is not coming. Well, I think it's because of the reason that if you go back to the previous step, if you remember, these names, column names are already generated by Power Query. Let's see that maybe somewhere here. Yeah. Do we see here? Anything else? Source, mean, no, this is not the one. Expanded column. Yeah. So here the columns all are expanded. So it has taken only the 6 columns basically. Remember, right? 6 columns. But now we have not the 6 columns, we have the 7th column. So unless I go and do something here that, because I'm a Power Query champion, so maybe I'll just go and copy this, that thing, and I just say comma and data dot column 6, comma data, whatever. Then yes, we can see how it is going to treat the rest of the data, right? But the answer is that once the data is imported, the number of columns are fixed here. Now, if I go and put the another column, and then let's say, then there will be another the question which obviously will come in your mind now, how to sort out that particular thing, right? So for that, you need to learn the Power Query. This can be one of the question also, the problem you can face, that you have some columns here. So we can sort it out. We can just add the columns here. And then we can see all the rest of the steps which are using this expanded data, like this header uses this, I told you, right? So how that the information is going, because it's all about passing the information from one step to the another. Okay. But since the columns are already recorded here, so we will not see that column. However, if you have if you add a new file, the new file will come. And if the column names are different, you will see the names here. So that then you have to apply the new filter just to remove that particular header from the data. If the headers are same, no problem, because that's already, like in our case, it's already filtered. We are already filtering the data here, which says that, that your header, the name should not be equals to name, all those, the field names which were coming here from the other, the workbooks. Okay. So this is how, I hope now you start getting the concept, that why actually we need the Power Query. And when we say why it is called ETL, extract, transform, and load, why it is called data cleaning tool, so these are the things. Okay. So now when you go and practice, obviously, please create some dummy files and, just go and practice. I'll send you these files in case if you want, put the folder there, and then before you refresh, change the folder bar. Okay. So we have, I guess, covered all the topics, the important ones, right? So yeah. So now a couple of features of the Power Query also I want to talk about, though you have been given you have the Power Query course available with you, but few of the things, let's quickly see. Sorting and filtering. So sorting and filtering, we have already covered in these exercises, but one more time. How do we sort the data in and filter the data in the Power Query? Well, you all know that this is where we have the sorting options available. You can sort the data based on the ascending, descending. These are all the same options which we have in the Excel also. These after between options will not be available for any text field, because in the text field, you cannot say between, So like here, if I have to, if I want to sort the data, let's say it's sort ascending. See, the data is sorted in the ascending order. And this is not going to change anything in the visuals. This is just for my reference if I have to go and do that. Sorting sign is also there. Sorting icon is also there, right? Right. Same way you can use the filter also, guys. In the filter, I can search and I can, select these things. So it's very simple. So this is all about the basics of the Power Query. Like we can do the filter also. If I have to pick the particular category, toys, or let's say wheeler, this is how it is, right? Step is already created here. Fine. So then what is the next thing? The next thing is that, keep top rows, remove top, bottom rows. So if you have to remove the information row by row, because column you have seen that I can right click here and I can remove, right? Remove the column. If I say remove other column, what will happen? Other than my selection, rest of the columns will be removed. So if I have to remove a lot of columns, instead of selecting them like this, and then clicking remove, or maybe I can use the shift key also. But another way is that select the column that you want and right click and say remove other column. So now at the end of the day, if I do this, what will happen? All the columns will be removed other than my selection, right? No panic, because previous step has already the data. So there's no need to panic. Just remove the step. This is something, Microsoft on this particular thing on the Power Query, they have actually just think out of the box. They have thought out of the box, because you see from Excel, the BI, they have developed fine, but because in Excel also we were creating the dashboard, right? So going to the BI, you still feel that, okay, they have taken that idea from Excel or the theme, they created the DAX also, their performance like in Excel, But coming up with something like this, like creating the steps, looking at the codes, and then you can argue the things like moving steps. I have not seen this thing anywhere in any tool, right? So it's really, really, they have created this marvelous tool. Okay, so same way, if you have to remove the rows, please click here. Okay, click here on this icon. Can you see this icon, right? I have shown you that how you can go and use the first row as header. Sometimes when you import the data, what happens is on you. Sometimes somebody is not on you. Sometimes if the title comes here, then title has to go on the top. So you can use this. Right now, titles are here. We will not use that, right? Now, if you have to go and remove the top rows, similarly, keep also. I'll show you the remove one. Top row. I want to remove the top row. Okay. Say that I want to remove the top row. How many rows from the top? Well, I want to remove actually the 3 rows from the top. So you can do that. Click OK. And now these, if you see the previous section, kid zone, yo, monkey, and fun time. They must have not been here. You see that? So it has removed the rows from the top. You can see remove top row step is there. And what it used actually as a function, it used table.skip, which we need not to learn, obviously. But if you will go for the M code, you have to learn. M code is again programming, which we use in Power Query. Okay, so this is how you can remove the rows. Same way you can remove the rows from the bottom also. From the bottom means from the very bottom side of that, from the last row. So if you say that from the last row, I want to remove 2 rows, you can, just put the numbers and the data will be removed from the bottom. Clear? Then you have the alternate row also. If you have to remove the alternate row, you can. Like how? Suppose you say that first row to remove. So what is the first row I want to target? My first row actually has to be, let's say, 3. The third row, I want to start removing the rows from here, keeping my 2 rows as it is. Okay, I want to remove the third row, and then after the third row, how many rows further you want to remove? Let's say just 1. Well, then means only the third. So after third, let's say I want to remove 2 rows, which means that this and this. I want to remove 2 rows, right? And then after removing, how many further rows you want to keep? This also you can go and tell this Power Query that start from this particular row, start removing the rows from third row. How many rows you have to remove? 2. And then once you're done, then you have to keep, let's say, further. Let's say I want to keep 3 rows. I want to keep the 3 rows and then again start keeping the counting. So let's do this. Let's see. Okay. So this is how it is done. Now the first, actually the row is France and the baby elephant. Okay. So if you go here, so let's see that. Where is it? The first one. Okay. So the first one is France, baby elephant, and the second is the India Joker. Remember, we started the row from third row, right? From the third. So first 2 rows are still here. Very nice. They are still there. What is the third row? UK whistle after removal. UK. You see that UK is not there. So we removed the Sweden piano because it is the third row. And then how many rows we have removed? 2 rows, which is Sweden, piano, India, Lappy. And then UK whistle starts. UK whistle starts. So it is going to keep the further those number of rows, and then again we'll repeat the same. Right. So you can go and check all these things. Obviously, you need packages. Anytime if you get confused, what I did, when you're cross-checking the data, you can always use this option 2 to 3. See, alternate row. 2 and then 2 and 3. This will help you. Okay. And if I if I try to click on this, let's see that. Yeah. So this window will also appear. Pay attention. If by chance you're doing the cross-checking and you forgot what was the starting row and then the other things, you can click on this icon also, right? If it has to offer you something, it will show you this pop-up. And obviously you can change also this. There's no need actually to, if you want to do some changes, there's no need to close this step and then recreate the same step again. Go back to that. No, the step is already created. If you want editing, you can. This happens in every step. Whenever you do anything, you can edit. So I can always go and say, okay, I want actually one, in this way. Okay. So same way, so this is all about the remover, and same way you can keep the rows also, go and practice on that. And this is covered in my Power Query series. And same way you can have the duplicates also removed, right? So when you go and say that duplicate remove, so it is going to basically work with this on the basis of the entire row. It's going to remove the values wherever the the row repetition is happening. Okay, so that is, so basically we can remove these rows from these different anchors. Fine. So that was a very the information. The last, delete the columns, I have already told you. The last one is the date function. Date function is useful, so let me just show you. Though we did this before also, that if I have to create the dates from this, I can always say that, okay, add column date. Okay, so you want to check the age, you want to, data only, or I'll just talk about these particular points which are useful for our data cleaning. I want to have a new column because you're in the add column. Don't worry, this date field will still be there. I want the year from this, so I can have the year. You see that the year is there. Now, again, you have to go back here. You have to select that particular column. And now what I will do, I will say, okay, so the year is okay. Now I want the start of the year. I have the start of the year also. So you see here, you will always find the start of the year, which is always going to be the same date, because in 2020, it's going to be for every date till 31st of that December, it's going to be the same. Same way you can have the end of the year also. So what is the end of the year? Sometimes these informations come very handy. So there are only 2 dates. Load more, I should see actually 3 dates. Yes, makes sense, right? So similarly, there are other fields also. Just give it a try. Month, we have the month, we have the start of the month, we have the end of the month. Like month, we give you the numbers 0, 1, 2, 3. And the days in a month is also there, very nice. End of the month is there. So name of the month is there. So let's say I have a name of the month. And then I'll use something else. Let's say the days in the month. Okay. So you see we have the days 31, 29. We have the month. Every information is there. Every information is there. Okay. So this is how it is. And then other in this the options also you can check the week of the year, the week of the month, year on year, 52, 53 weeks we have, right? Week of a month, like 1 to 4 or 5, it depends. So this is all the information we have here. Okay. Now since I have created all these columns, I put some effort for you. I don't want to actually remove these, right? But then if I go to my visual, these all will show up there, isn't it? And unnecessarily, I will have a bit of distraction because we don't want to work with these columns, isn't it? So what can we do about it? Because if I now go to the toy shop data, this will have more number of columns. Let me see that. Suppose I'm creating something. Let me just, So, so we have all these month name, start of the year, isn't it? Right. So what I can do is, our main data is toy data, right? See what I'm going to do. These are all the tips and the tricks, I will create a copy of this toy data. Let's say Control-C, Control-V. Okay. Now this toy data too, what I will do, I will keep this as, let's say, operating steps information. I've simply copied the data, Control-C, Control-V, right? This is for your practice now. You can go through this. But coming back to the toy, now I don't need all these things, isn't it? So I'll remove all these steps, right? Now there are so many steps here. I don't want to row here and then here and then here, start crossing them. Is there any way that I can remove all the steps? Well, so where the story begins? My story actually began here. When I said, inserted here. Yeah, this is where. And after this, whatever comes, I want to delete all. So what I will do, I will try to right click here and I will see what we have. Delete until end. Because all the steps after this are not required. So I can just say like this. You will see all these things in your Power BI course. Okay. I'm saying these things because you should not see this as that we are going actually a bit fast here, because always Power BI needs practice, a lot of time, So, but I just wanted to cover these few points so that when you're learning the BI, you should also have a bit of understanding in your mind that why I need the Power BI when people say that. Okay, so let's close and apply. Okay, so Power BI step, we will never touch this particular part. And I just want to refresh all things. All right. So now And please remember one more thing. Like sometimes what happens when you have more than one data, if you want to see that this visual is created by which table, it always selects that. And if you just expand that, you'll find the list also here. So if I have two fields from two tables coming in one visual, which we haven't started, don't worry, that we will do in the data modeling. So you can always select the visual. Right now it's showing me this is all about the overall. Okay. And if I go back here, see, let's click here. You see, this is selected. Again, very nice. All right. So